This is liriodendron tulipifera, or tulip poplar, and it is the tallest hardwood native to eastern North America, reaching over 100 feet tall. And there are some champion trees that are even approaching 200 feet. It's long been an important timber species, but also a landscape shade tree favored by George Washington and planted at Mount Vernon. The Native Americans would make dugout canoes from the trunk wood, and it's easy for me to see why, because even though it's considered a hardwood species, the wood is relatively light and has a nice straight grain, making it easy to work. Its spring blooms are beautiful flowers, but because the trees grow so tall, often with no lower branches, it can be hard to see them. But fortunately for honey fanatics, the honeybees can find the flowers, because this is actually a really important species for honeybees and honey production. Now, the leaf of a tulip poplar is really distinct, and once you're familiar with it, you'll be an expert at identifying them. Liriodendron tulipifera is commonly referred to as a tulip poplar or tulip tree, and some people think it gets that name because the shape of a leaf resembles that shape of a tulip. Other people think that the blooms on the tree bear a striking resemblance to tulips. Whatever the case is, it should be known that the tulip poplar is not a poplar at all. It's actually in the magnolia family, Magnoliaceae. And if you find that to be puzzling, you're not alone, because common names can be misleading and confusing. But the interesting thing about this giant tree being in the magnolia family is if you take a twig and break it or scratch the surface of it, you will get an astringent aroma. Now, you'll get that same smell if you scratch the twig of a magnolia tree. Now, in the dormant season, after the beautiful golden yellow leaves have fallen off the tulip tree, there are a couple ways that you can continue to identify it. The bark is ridged and furrowed, creating this diamond-shaped pattern, and the growth habit of the trunk is very straight. And on the branches, after the leaves have fallen, you'll see these aggregates of samaras, or clusters of winged seeds. And you can see these from a pretty good distance. So no matter how tall the tree is, if you see these on the branches, you know you got a tulip poplar. Now, they're not very tolerant of heavy shade. They prefer to be in full sun. And as far as soil goes, they're not very tolerant of excessively wet soil or excessively dry soil. They perform best in moist, acidic soil that is rich in organic matter. Now, as I mentioned before, even though it's a hardwood species, the wood is relatively soft, and they don't tend to hang on to their dead branches as well as some other tree species. So if you have a large tulip poplar in a sensitive area of your landscape, have it inspected regularly by a qualified arborist so that we can make pruning recommendations. And also, because they're such a tall tree, we may recommend tree lightning protection systems to protect them from lightning strikes.